From the theme park capital of the world, bringing you the latest in theme park news. Welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast. I am Clint.
And I'm Caribbean Barry.
And you are Caribbean Barry. You got your fedora. You are ready to
hat.
go. You got
like,
your Dole. Is that your Dole Whip shirt that I see there?
That's I think the snacks
one. But isn't Dole Whip on it?
Yeah, Dole Whip is on it.
So there you go.
It matches the hat, the blue in the hat.
So yeah, we are very busy bees here. We're knocking out these podcast episodes. Hopefully everybody is enjoying our Tiana's Bayou Adventure review episode. This episode is obviously going to be all things Disney Cruise Line. We had that absolutely insane week where it was back-to-back Lookout Cay media event, Tiana's media event. So Barry and I are trying to churn out these podcast episodes as quick as we can and get them to you guys to listen to. So yeah, we're gonna on this episode we're gonna be talking about Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, and then we're gonna wrap it up at the end and just kind of give our thoughts on the Disney Magic, because it was my first time on the Magic, Barry's first time on the Magic, Barry's first time on a Disney cruise, my 6th Disney cruise. So we've got a mixed bag of opinions on stuff and, different perspectives.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're going to start first talking about Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. First off, huge thank you to Disney Cruise Line for inviting us out, hosting us for this cruise. Yeah, we greatly appreciate that. We had an absolute blast the whole entire trip, and it was really cool being the first Disney cruise ship at Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. That was pretty special. I was up early on the morning on that, Friday, to watch the boat come in and dock to the pier, and everybody was out waving at us. Speaking of pier, let's start the thing that everybody was talking about. The walk along this dreaded, what everybody was losing their minds over was this pier that Lookout Cay, that the ship's going to Lookout Cay dock to. Barry, do you want to kind of start talking about it, about what just kind of the pier and how everybody lost their mind over it? And it wasn't really that bad.
It wasn't really that bad. The pier is long, and if you've been to certain other ports, there's some pretty long piers out there. Cozumel, depending on which ship you get on, has a pretty long pier. On top of on top of a long walk through the port section just to get if you're going somewhere. I feel like, I guess, people who've been to Castaway Cay have a certain expectation because the cruise ship there, really docks right there.
Let me stop you there. I actually, on Google Maps, I did some nerdy investigation, and Google Maps has this thing where you can plot the distance, and the distance on Castaway Cay, from where the boat docks, where you get off, you can still walk. You don't have to take the tram on Castaway Cay.
Yeah.
And I measured the distance to about the Family Beach area, and it was about 2,500 feet. And I measured the distance from the Lookout Cay pier when you get off the boat to the end of that pier. Yes, you have another 12 12, 13 minute tram ride to the other side of the island, but it was about 2,800 feet. So just around half a mile. I was like, what else? What are some other theme park things that have a good walk to it? And believe it or not, and yes, I know we get moving walkways. The walk from the Universal, I plotted it about the middle of the parking garage to the entrance of Universal Studios Florida is about 2,500 feet. I didn't understand everybody complaining about a half-mile walk.
Yeah, I feel like it was a little overblown, and also the fact that, if you've gone to, like you said, to certain other cruise line private islands, it's like, okay, you get off the ship at the pier, like at Castaway Cay or Coco Cay, for Royal Caribbean. But if you want to go to certain parts of the island, you've got a nice long walk to get to those parts of the island. Whereas here, you get to the pier, then you do have to hop on a tram. So yes, it's about a half an hour to get there, approximately, 20 minutes to half an hour. I felt like the tram ride was a lot faster coming back. And I guess it's because it just felt that way. And maybe it was just because by the end of the day, they had gotten more used to driving. They were driving little bit faster and back. Yes, but it's no different than any private island you go to off of a cruise ship. You're going to be hiking and walking somewhere all right there. The one good thing is once you get off the tram, for the most part, it is all right there.
Pretty much everything is right there. Yeah.
You're not that far from the beach. Now, if you want to go right or left, I will say it is very spread out.
Yeah. That
From the family end all the way down to the adult end is a very large expanse for obvious reasons. So it can handle the larger Disney cruise ships. We were on the Magic, so it was nowhere near full that day we were there.
Yeah, because we saw a lot of empty chairs and stuff. No, coming from somebody that's been to Castaway Cay a lot, Lookout Cay is a lot more stretched out and a lot more expansive than Castaway Cay. I'm making sure I'm getting these keys right. Lookout Cay is a lot more spread out, a lot more, there's walkways connecting everything. Whereas Castaway Cay, everything is very compact right there, except for the adult beach, which you have to either take a tram or a bike ride to down that like airport runway at Castaway Cay.
Yeah, and we also talked to someone in the know who basically said, the pier is where it is because there's less issues with wind there,
Yeah.
which can be a problem at times with some of the being able to dock at some of these islands, dock at any port. As a lot of we got stuck in Cozumel overnight because we couldn't get out because winds were blowing 40 miles an hour from the offshore, and we're basically holding the boat, keeping it from being able to leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, the issue there was basically environmental and also just less wind issues. Having the pier on that side of the island and you having to take a tram there, and like I didn't have an issue with that. I mean, I can understand it's hot, which I mean I feel like whenever you go to the Bahamas, it's going to be hot.
There were a lot of people, mentioning about kids and what if it storms, going back this. I think the biggest concern with the pier, the walkway, was going back to the ship. What if it's storming? People that have kids, and the best thing I can say as a parent, if you have luckily all my kids are out of the stroller. I had my 9-year-old son there with me. He did fine. He did fine walking to the island. He did fine walking back. But if you have kids in that kind of 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old range, your best bet is just going to be bring a collapsible stroller.
And weather is weather. I mean, when we were getting back on the ship at Cozumel, it was 40-mile-an-hour winds. I was getting blown around on the pier. It's
that's
like
tropical storm force winds.
Yeah,
almost.
I mean and that was 40 miles an hour on a clear day.
Yeah.
It's when you go to areas like this, you're going to deal at times with most times you have perfect weather. But yeah, you are going to deal with possibility of storms, but that doesn't matter what place you go to. I will say it's one of the most beautiful walks on a pier. Because that water before we even get to the beach, the water off that pier is crystal clear.
Yeah.
Which you don't get all the time when you can buy it on the pier. So it's enjoy the walk and enjoy the scenery because it is beautiful scenery just walking from the ship to shore. So
and they did make I noticed after we had left the island and I think it was the Dream, if I remember correctly, was the next ship that was going there.
Mhm.
There were people on that cruise, and I saw on Twitter that they had already made some changes along this pier. They had some water stations set up. My biggest thing was, for those of you watching the video version here, I'm playing my video from Lookout Cay. There's these little alcoves. I hope eventually they get some kind of benches there or something for people that do want to take a break. It almost looked like they were made for benches almost. The walk wasn't that bad. I know online there was all sorts of TikToks and there was all sorts of Twitter post about this walk. I think the photos made it look really bad. I think that's what a lot of it was.
Yeah, that and just you got to remember this is a brand new island. I mean, it clearly is. We were there for a preview, and we've heard since. There's been there's still construction going on there.
Yeah, you could tell when we were there that things were still things weren't done. Then they were still.
Yeah, we've heard since we've been there's been more palm trees put up, and more other stuff more signage has been put up since we've been there. So it's
going back to the beach. I figured this would be a good segue to talk about the beach for a minute or two.
Yeah.
because it's without a doubt, and I think you're in agreement here with me, Barry. This is one of, if not the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas.
It is definitely the most beautiful beach I've been on a cruise. It is the selling point of this island is the
Yeah,
beach. It
yeah,
is fine sand, unlike a lot of these beaches you go to in the Caribbean are a little rocky. The sand is fine. The water is crystal clear. A lot of times near the shore, the water is not crystal clear on a lot of these beaches. It is crystal clear on the shore. I think the only negative for some people might be the fact that the beach really is not that deep.
yeah,
The water isn't that deep. Basically, like the snorkeling areas, everyone pretty much most people can walk out to them.
yeah,
So, so it's like if you want to go like a little deep water snorkeling, you have to pay for the excursion that they have
yeah,
on the island. There's not as many loungers on the beach part. The beach does have a protective dune line that goes up and down the entire beach for obvious reasons.
yeah,
And whether we'll see if in the future they add some more loungers to the beach, but the majority of the loungers are on the other side of the dune line. That may be the only sort of disappointing thing as far as the beach goes is you're not, you can see the water from those loungers, but you're not seeing like straight onto the beach. But
yeah.
it is a beautiful beach, and the water is just it's amazing. It's probably one of the first times I've been to like a beach where I wasn't disappointed at all, as far as like it wasn't rocky there, it wasn't rough.
Yeah,
It was just
I was blown
perfect.
away. Yeah, I
I
was blown
Yeah.
away, and this is coming from somebody that, I love Castaway Cay.
And
The beaches there are gorgeous.
unfortunately we didn't even get to spend that much time at the beach because for obvious reasons we had so much to do
Yeah,
while we were on
this
the
was
island.
the unfortunate thing, I guess, if you could say it's unfortunate for us being on Disney's new island destination. We had content together, we had video to get, we had photos to get. So unfortunately, we didn't have a whole lot of time to relax during our day at Lookout Cay. Absolutely enjoyed it, but we didn't really have time to relax and just kind of soak it in. So I can't wait to get back in that respect. Let's talk about some of the entertainment on the island. You've got Rush, a Junkanoo celebration, which we actually caught right when we got off the tram. It had just started, and it's just this huge, colorful parade of just Bahamian. The best way I heard several.
Carnival.
It's a carnival, a Mardi Gras celebration for the people of the Bahamas, and they just wear these vibrant, and they make these costumes. They're handmade costumes. There's music, and then obviously you got,
Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy are
yeah,
part of
Goofy
that,
wasn't in this. Sorry, yeah,
and their special costumes designed specifically for the island by a Bahamian fashion designer. It's fun. It is. We were in the right place at the right time to catch it and get up close, and it was a blast. They've been running it so far 2 times a day. It's a must see. I think it's one of the things I found really enjoyable about the island. Is just everything is very Bahamian inspired. A lot of times you go to a cruise line private island, and it just looks like a resort. Any resort, you could be
yeah.
anywhere. Everything from the entertainment down to even the design of some of the pavilions, it all had, to me, a look of like a lived in like Bahamian resort town.
Yeah,
These are all local musicians and dancers, and it was really cool.
Yeah, they have the Goombay Cultural Center, which you can go there and actually build your own Junkanoo headpiece yourself. Kids can get in on it, have a lot of fun with it. But like Barry was saying, this island is very much about the culture of the Bahamas, the Bahamian people, and you really see it throughout the whole entire island, which is actually really cool to learn. You go to the Goombay Cultural Center and you learn about the sights and sounds of Junkanoo, and just there's so much to learn about the culture of the Bahamian people that it was really cool to check all that stuff out. This is kind of where stuff as a parent comes in. I have to say the kid stuff at Lookout Cay completely beats Castaway Cay. They have the rush out, gush out water play area, and then they have a smaller one for littler kids called Sebastian's Cove. which is for the little kids. Can't remember the name of the off the top of my head, the water play area in Castaway Cay, but it is literally like a floating island out in the middle of the water. So you have to be a good strong swimmer. I, as a parent, I say this in my article. The Lookout Cay totally wins as far as like water play area for the little ones.
Oh no, the both water play areas are water park level, like play areas, like something you'd see in a major water park, really heavily themed out.
Yeah, this
And
one, the rush out, gush out water play area is actually themed to a Junkanoo shack, from what I was told. So that's really cool. And then obviously the other one, which was Sebastian's Cove, is themed to Little Mermaid.
so
Sorry,
it's
Barry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
very, very, very cool. You know, because sometimes some kids are intimidated by the beach,
Yeah,
and it's
sharks.
just easier to, and it's also easier. These play areas, you're able to just sort of let them, you know, Connor's like 9, he's able to run around while you just sort of watch.
Yeah,
And so it's, you know, it's nice to have like a little area for them to play, and they're still, I mean, you're still right there off the beach, so
Yep.
it's you know, it's, you're still there as part of the island. And also there is a family friendly show too to go along with all this family friendly stuff.
Yeah, that was over at the Play Pavilion.
But no, this one features Goofy, Pluto, Chip and Dale in their costumes, and their Junkanoo inspired costumes, and
Disney Fun in the Sun Beach Bash.
so I like too that it's in a covered pavilion too. I think that's nice that, you know, everyone's not having to be out in the heat.
No, it was a lot of fun. All the kids get there, and Goofy, Chip and Dale, Pluto, they all come out and they kind of hang out with the kids. They play the games. It was a fun little time. You know, my son, he absolutely loved it. So yeah, that was a really cool little thing. And
then the characters are available throughout the day, different parts of the day for photos. And
I saw Minnie, and I think I saw Mickey throughout the day, but again, we didn't have time.
They all had pretty long lines the couple of times I saw, because, you know, you can't get these pictures with them in these costumes anywhere else but on this island.
So, all right, let's talk about the food really quick, and then we can probably wrap it up and talk about the Disney Magic itself for a few minutes before we get on out of here. Speaking of the video that's playing right now, the smoothie place, I got the tropical teaser, which was really good. We can quick talk about that. There are a variety of bars. I think there were a total of 3 bars.
Yeah, I believe 3 bars, and then the smoothies place, which with the basically sort of, you know, smoothies and basically non-alcoholic like mocktails.
Yeah, and a really cool pineapple souvenir cup, which was really, really awesome. And I'm not one to buy every souvenir cup I see, but I saw that pineapple Disney Cruise Line souvenir cup, and I had to have it. If you're a fan of souvenir cups,
like anything, I think the only issue I found with some of the bars is they didn't really have menus up, and, you know, they were missing some items. That's to be expected. Like I said, it was a preview. We were basically sort of the, for lack of a better term, the guinea pigs for the first time. I mean, it was literally the first time the crew had been to this island and they basically bring everything off the ship and then staff all these locations. I think, considering that this was their first time doing all of this, I think it ran pretty well.
For it being their first time, I think it went pretty well. What did you think about the food, Barry? I mean, typical for me, it was similar to Castaway Cay, barbecue fanfare. I enjoyed it. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I had the Bahamian, like, peas and rice with chicken. It was flavorful. You know, my biggest thing, like, if you're going to have local cuisine, I'm expecting it to have the flavor and the spices of a local cuisine. And I thought it really had a good flavor to it. I tried some of the chicken, and I don't think I tried ribs. The big chocolate chip cookies, which I know it's such a basic thing, but good Lord, they're so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I get those. They have those on Castaway Key. And when I saw them on Lookout Key, I was like, oh, hello, my sweetness.
I know. It's like, can we have those? Can we have those chocolate chip cookies in the parks? It's
Yeah.
the
But
closest I could think to is the ones they have during Festival of the Arts that are similar to those chocolate chip cookies.
almost. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost.
But all the food I tried was really good. Didn't have to wait long. Albeit we ate a little bit later. That the barbecues were open. I really enjoyed the food. I think the only issue we saw is the pavilions, the dining pavilions. I wonder how well it went with it's going to go with the bigger ships because there seemed to be maybe they're adding more. They hadn't put out all the tables yet because it felt like there was a lot of space.
It looked like you could still squeeze a lot of picnic tables in those
Yeah.
covered, like they almost look like turtle shell type pavilions.
Yeah, because I think that was the only issue. We thought it was like, okay, well, what are they going to do once the bigger ships get here? Because it's like there's
Yeah.
definitely not enough tables. I'm assuming they've added more.
Yeah.
Same way we there was plenty of loungers on the beach. There's tons of empty loungers, but obviously, I think they had more than enough for the bigger ships.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed the food. I really I definitely liked it. Yeah, I felt it was a lot better than some of the food I've had at other cruise line the barbecues they do at other cruise line islands I've been on.
Yeah, no, every time I've been to Castaway Key, the barbecue there has always been good. It always hits the spot, It's perfect for your island trip out there for the day.
Yeah.
A nice good barbecue food. The one difference, like you said, Barry, that you had that I noticed at Lookout Key is again, this Lookout Key is very Bohemian inspired. And they did have a few Bohemian inspired dishes, and they had the I think you said it was the pigeon peas and rice.
Pigeon
with
peas and
chicken.
rice, and there was some of the fish dishes were very much. And they had
they
like
had a
yuca fries, and a lot of other Caribbean.
They had a seafood
food.
jambalaya, I think.
Yeah.
They had snapper, grilled
Yeah.
salmon, with pineapple salsa. From what I remember looking at the
Yeah, and then
menu.
they
So
had the usual what you expect from a private island barbecue: burgers, chicken, ribs, some of the usual stuff that you
some of
get
the huge. So
at most cruise line private islands.
we talked about food. We talked about entertainment. We talked about the beach. Merchandise, that's probably where I spent the most money. I
We
blew the
both
budget.
did.
Yeah, we both did.
You
We
really
both
blew the budget.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see any ship merchandise on the ship that I wanted. So I was like, you know what? When we get to Lookout Key, I'm probably gonna blow the budget, and I did.
No, I think I'm wearing one of the things you can buy. Thanks to Disney giving it to us. I love the fact that it was very the merchandise was varied. There was a lot of different lines of merchandise, including some of it was designed by the same Bahamian fashion designer who designed the character costumes. You had the Junkanoo inspired Loungefly and ears.
And the Bohemian artist you're thinking of is Theodore Elliott.
Yeah, I think the only issue was since it was the beginning, the lines were crazy for merchandise.
It got bombarded when the tram started showing up, and I was like,
and even towards later in the day, you still had to wait
it was still busy, but
about 6 or 7 people deep to check out.
The line outside of the gift shop was gone when I was leaving with Connor. It was just still crazy inside the gift shop.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I purchased several things. I got my UV swim shirt with the Lookout Key on it. I got my wife the Spirit jersey. I got a T-shirt for me. I got a little swim shirt for my daughter. All the merchandise was really cute. There was actually some really good merchandise.
I got the button up. There's a nice mixture of like I said, Bahamian inspired looks, some that's more of like a tropical thing. There was a whole line with sort of Mickey and Minnie on it, including the button up shirt I got. Then there was some more like your typical resort wear type looking stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, a good mixture, and for the most part, they had most sizes in all day long. They did not, I don't know how it's going to work with a bigger ship. They for the most part kept most of the stuff in stock all day long. There may have been a few sizes that they ran out of, but
yeah.
I was definitely impressed with how much stuff they did actually bring on into the shop, and I'm assuming it'll get restocked every time a ship comes in. And I was impressed with the merchandise, and you can only buy it on the island. You can't
Yeah,
get it
you can't get
anywhere
that
else.
anywhere else. So
I mean, some of it probably will eventually show up one day in Cast Connection and the outlets, but
yeah, the stuff that's not selling and the unpopular merchandise
but
may,
I
but
have a
yeah.
feeling it'll be a while before
Yeah,
that happens.
everything was flying off the shelves when we
Yeah.
were there.
So,
And then right next to that is actually another gift shop called Treasures of Eleuthera, which actually sells stuff from the Bahamian people. I saw bags, I saw artwork,
Mark,
I saw coffee.
coffee. Yeah.
It's all stuff that's sold by the
Jewelry.
locals. So, yeah,
Yeah.
jewelry. It was all sold by the locals there on that island. So that was really cool that Disney was incorporating that into their
Mhm.
their destination. So I think we covered the island pretty good. We did merchandise, we
Yeah.
did food,
Yeah,
entertainment,
I think,
beach.
I think our only, most people's complaint, and it is a new island, is shade. Whether they add some shade structures, obviously it's going to take time for a lot of the palm trees to grow in,
Sure.
and most of the loungers, they have like umbrellas next to them. They don't really have the cover type loungers. So
Yeah.
like, but I feel like that's something Disney will adapt to over time if they get if they get feedback from people and they feel they need to maybe put in some shade structures. But other than that, I mean, considering this is a brand new experience, a brand new island, I thought it was pretty well run. And like I said, it's the beach. The beach is everything about going to this island. It's so
100%.
beautiful. It's so beautiful. And we didn't even get really an opportunity to go. There's nature trails that you'll eventually be able to walk and bike. Part of one opened at some point during the day, but yeah, there's going to be not just the beach. There will be other things to explore on this island as they get everything fully up and running.
Yeah, I think, I think you summed it up pretty well, Barry. I think pretty much everything that we didn't like or we saw that, we were hoping Disney could change. I think that everything we saw Disney will change. It's stuff that can be changed.
Yeah,
And like you keep saying, we were the first guests on this island.
yeah.
So, we can't be too hard on things, but I think overall, I really enjoyed the island. Coming from somebody that's been to Castaway Cay, 5, 6, 7 times. I know that the one trip after COVID that Cheryl and I did, we actually did 2 stops at Castaway Cay. Yeah, no, I love the island. I can't, like I said, I can't wait to get back there and just kind of relax and not have to be stressed out about gathering content and photos and videos,
I
and
know.
just go there just to relax and
And
enjoy it
enjoy.
because
Yep.
I really enjoyed Lookout Cay, and it definitely has a promising future with Disney Cruise Line as another destination for them for people to enjoy. So
Yeah, and based on what you've said and other people have said, it's a completely different experience than
it is
Castaway. Which
100%.
is which is
It's
what they need. Is they need something that's a different experience. Two different
100%.
things.
100% a completely different vibe than Castaway Cay. Castaway Cay's got that very tropical getaway, rundown island. You're castaways. I was gonna say abandoned island, but a remote Bahama island. And Lookout Cay is very much a cultural celebration of the Bahamas, of the Bahamian people, and it shows. And Disney did a really good job of representing that. So let's spend the last few minutes here talking about the ship that we were on to get to Lookout Cay, the Disney Magic, Disney's very first cruise ship. So this was pretty special for me, for you. I'm sure it being your first Disney cruise, and I was trying to pick your brain this whole cruise, and I still don't know how you feel about the Magic and your cruise, not Lookout Cay. So I'm going to give you the floor here for a few minutes, Barry, and just kind of tell people what you thought about the Disney Magic and just stuff on the ship.
Oh, I mean, I absolutely loved it. We've come close a couple times to doing a Disney cruise, and I'm glad we finally got to do one. Thanks again
Yeah.
to Disney that we got to go on one. We had a deluxe ocean view stateroom with a veranda. It's the nicest cruise ship room I've ever had. Even sharing it with four people crammed in there.
We
But I
managed.
mean,
We managed.
we manage because it's spacious. It's
Yeah.
actually, it's close to the size of some hotel rooms.
Yeah.
And also it helps that you have the split bathroom, which makes things a lot easier. But no, I love the stateroom. Our attendant was all the cast members, but especially our stateroom host and our servers were absolutely amazing. The best I've ever had on any cruise I've ever been on.
That's
The
one
food,
thing you sorry, Barry.
okay,
I'm trying to kind of jump in with all the things you're
yeah,
talking about because I don't want to go back and repeat the same thing. Um, out of all the Disney cruise lines I've been on, all the trips I've been on aboard Disney Cruise Line, the one thing that you always remember are your staff, your cast
yeah,
members that, like you said, your servers, your room attendant, your hostess and your host. And, I always remember because they are the ones that really make, I hate to sound cheesy here, but they make the magic. And
yeah.
every time they've just been so great. So sorry,
Yeah,
carry on.
no, that them, all the all the food was amazing. I mean, I would say
Food.
maybe a couple of things were like just okay. The all three dinners, God, the Rapunzel's royal table was amazing.
Yeah.
It was, you basically got a dinner show. Everything about it was magical and really cool. Lumiere's is more of the sort of the upscale, sort of night, and the food was good. That was probably actually, and it was probably the weakest out of the three. And then Animator's Palette was to finally get to do that after all these years. That was just magical seeing the dining room change over your dinner all the way to the finale, where it just becomes an explosion of color.
It becomes
And
phantasmic, literally.
yeah, basically, it basically comes the finale of Phantasmic.
Mickey comes out in Sorcerer Mickey
Yeah,
costume, and not to spoil it, but
definitely Rapunzel's royal table is the highlight to me of the dinners.
we
It's
had a
it's
Tangled night that night because we ate at Rapunzel's royal table, and then we got to see Tangled
See
the
Tangled the
musical
musical.
all in one night. So
Eh,
we had the full Tangled experience that
and
night.
everything about Tangled the musical was amazing. I see the light, I mean, both times Sin and I were crying at the dinner and in the musical. All three stage shows were excellent. I would say I love the Cinderella, the Cinderella one with a twist. I'm always forgetting the name. And then Disney Dreams to me was the weakest one. To me, is because they rehashed sort of Cinderella again in that show,
Yeah.
including using the same actors again. Other than that, and
Wasn't the Cinder
it was fun to pick after seeing Tangled the musical, the next two shows, trying to figure out who
who
played
was playing who? Yeah,
who,
with the cast.
with the
Yeah.
cast, and it's interesting because like some of the people who were in the ensemble in like Tangled the musical were like leads in some of the other shows, and so it was really neat, and also to see some of the princesses,
Yeah.
a lot of the people who were in the shows were also the princesses characters. And that's the other thing I really love. It's so easy to get character interactions compared
Yeah.
to like the parks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's just, you're lucky if you wait maybe 10,
Ten, 15 minutes.
Pirate Night was the hardest one to get.
Yeah.
Any of them, those were where the waits were the longest, and also they didn't have as many meets because of the fact that they also are part of the show.
But you went down there the final night for the kiss goodnight. You were just like
Oh
selfie
god,
with
yeah,
everybody.
do
Selfie,
not miss the
selfie.
kiss goodnight, because if you want some of the if you're not just if you're you should have knocked out Captain Mickey and Captain Minnie by then. But if you want to get some of the other characters,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can get so many characters in that about 15-minute period before they do the final part of the kiss goodnight.
Yep.
Or whatever they call that show, but the farewell show.
Yeah.
You can knock out a bunch of characters, including ones that normally don't meet, like some of the characters from the Ugly Duckling guys.
Mhm.
They had them out there, and they had Captain Hook out there, and so you had some characters you don't normally get to meet.
They
And
had some of the cast from the shows out
yeah, and they
there.
had some of the cast from the shows, which is really cool. If you want characters, and you have so many opportunities to meet them in oftentimes different outfits. I think it's the Royal Gathering. Disney was nice enough to book us for that, because that is something you can book a reservation for, where you get all four princesses: Cinderella, Ariel, Tiana, and Belle, all together, one right after the other, and you get a
Yeah.
great. And that was really neat too. So it's like I
Mhm.
said, it was so easy to get characters, and sometimes you stumble upon them too, because sometimes they were free roaming every so often.
The big thing that helps with characters is if you go on a cruise, download the Navigator app.
Yeah,
That thing is a godsend because it shows you everything.
Yeah, because we downloaded the Navigator app. We favorited everything. We didn't get to do every single thing we favorited, but we
Yep.
favorited every show, everything.
They push the app really hard, so make sure you download it if you go on a Disney cruise. It is a godsend.
And it was nice to have the adult area after 8 p.m. with Fathoms, Keys, and O'Gill's Pub. That was where they did a lot of the fun, like the couple show and karaoke and all kinds of stuff at night, and of course the piano bar stuff. So it was nice to have it. It was nice to be on a smaller ship. It's
Yeah.
easy to get around on the Disney Magic, but on the other hand, there's so much going on, you don't really get bored.
Yep.
Unlike some other smaller ships. So it was nice. There was never a lack of anything to do. If anything, in those 3 nights, you couldn't get everything
There
done.
was almost too much to do.
And we
Yeah.
didn't even mention the pirate party, which was an absolute blast.
I mean, come on, pirate fireworks on a cruise ship.
To finally get to experience the fireworks at sea, which was fun, and Mickey zip lining across the deck, and
Yep.
and the whole pirate party was really, really neat. The sail away party was neat too, except it was hot. So but overall, no, it was amazing. And like I said, there was everybody, all the cast members, our wait staff, our wait staff especially, were absolutely, we took a picture with them at the
Yeah.
end, because they were so nice to us the entire time.
I got to send you that, by the way. I still have it on my
Yeah.
phone.
Well, I'm sure, I think you got a few pictures that I need to get from you, but
Yeah.
it was an amazing experience. Thank you again to Disney for inviting us. This is the first time Disney Cruise Line has invited us to do something like this, and we were very, very, very appreciative.
Yeah, it
Um,
was really cool to have them invite us out for this. And we wanted to give our honest opinions on things. Did we absolutely love it? Yes. Huge thank you to Disney Cruise Line. Everybody involved for organizing this. They invited a ton of people on this preview cruise.
Yeah.
So the
yeah,
PR
we were
department.
on there with guests. It wasn't,
Yeah, there were people that you could buy a ticket to on this ship. It wasn't just exclusively a media cruise. But yeah, no,
yeah, and I would say most of them were most of the people on this cruise were people who've been on multiple Disney cruises, because we
yeah,
obviously wanted to
like
be first on the island.
seasoned veterans of Disney Cruise Line, which like I said, I've been on this was my 6th Disney cruise. My very first one was actually on the other small ship, the Disney Wonder. So it was really special for me to get on the Magic and kind of compare and contrast. And it was so funny because the last several cruises I've been on the Dream, the Fantasy, the big ships. And I get on the Disney Magic and everything is so close and everything is so small. And
Yeah.
the elevator doors opened up and I was like, oh my God, the elevators are so small. It was actually so nice to go back on one of the smaller ships, because exactly
Yeah.
like what you were saying, Barry, it was easy to get around. These big massive cruise ships, while nice, they can be a
No,
lot
and the
a lot to
Magic,
get
I
around.
think, was what the only is the Wonder. Is the Wonder in Europe now?
I believe so.
The Magic is going to Australia, starting in Australia, New Zealand, starting November, because once the Treasure comes online, except for probably certain times, I don't think the Magic and Wonder is going to be in the U.S. really anymore.
Anytime soon.
They're going to be like I said, in Europe, Australia, New Zealand for now, and so before, I'm assuming at some point they will retire them. For a ship that's like 26 years old, it's still beautiful, and
Yeah.
the Art Deco design, everything about it was well laid out, and still, I mean, for an older ship, it's still in tip
Really
top
good shape.
condition.
I think you pretty much nailed, the stuff that I wanted to mention about the ship specifically. The Pirate Night with Mickey is really cool on the smaller ships because, like you said, you get Mickey going across the zip line. You don't get that on the bigger ships because the smokestacks are further apart. It was really cool to see Mickey come out on Pirate Night in his pirate costume, swinging across the little zip line and kicking off the fireworks show. The animator's palette is actually better on the smaller ships because, like I said, they really changed the animator's palette from the small ships to the new ships. They really kind of dumbed it down, and the animator's palette on the Wonder and the Magic are so much better because, like I said, not only do you get Sorcerer Mickey at the end coming out and everything, I can't remember if you get that. I don't think you get that on the Dream or the Fantasy. I don't think you do. I'll have to go back and double check. But you know, you get the restaurant is designed better because the walls change color. It's a better experience on those smaller ships. So it was great to get back on the Magic. Well, not get back on the Magic, but get on one of the smaller ships again and experience everything again. Because I went on the Wonder back in 2004. I think it was. So it's been a minute since I've been on the smaller ship. So anyways,
it's wild to think that Treasure will be debuting in December.
I know. They're churning out these ships like crazy. So Barry and I are very excited for the Treasure, for the Haunted Mansion Parlor. That's one thing that we're very excited about for the Treasure. We're not going to get into, you know, discussing everything, but the Haunted Mansion Parlor. That's all I got to say. So
yes, if we ever get on the Treasure, they're going to have to drag us kicking and screaming from that bar all the time
from the Haunted Mansion Parlor. So anyways, I think we can get on out of here. I think we did a pretty good job of covering everything. Again, huge thank you to Disney Cruise Line, Disney, for inviting us out for this preview cruise. It was an absolute blast, and we can't wait to get back to Lookout Cay again. So Barry, where can everybody follow you online and check out all your photos and videos and socials and stuff?
I'm at Culture and Thrills on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
You always have to put so much thought into that.
I always I'm like, should I finally call it X? I'm like, no, I'm not going to call it X.
I've caught myself saying Twitter/X. That's about all I'm going to give that. Yeah, no, I'll plug all of our stuff. You can follow ThrillGeek. Make sure you guys follow ThrillGeek because we have tons and tons. Speaking of Disney, this cruise line trip, articles, photos, videos. You name it, we've got tons of content from this trip and still more to come. Yeah, so make sure you're following us on everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Check out especially my YouTube video. I kind of do a good overview video of Lookout Cay. So if you're looking to just get a feel for the island, make sure you check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ThrillGeek, and subscribe while you're there and all that jazz. And follow us everywhere else. Like I said, we have lots more coming. Barry has his article. I have my article on the website. So yeah.
We have the competing articles. Mine is from a first-time Disney cruiser. His is from like someone who's been to Castaway Cay. So it gives you a different perspective of what to expect at Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point.
Yeah,
I feel like we've said that enough that we finally have gotten it right, because I feel like the first day or two we were like, Lighthouse.
We were
Lookout
Key at
Lookout Point, Lighthouse Point.
Yeah. It was a bit of a tongue twister at first, but I think we got it down to a science now. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for listening. We appreciate you guys as always. If you guys listen to us on Apple Podcasts, make sure you guys leave us a 5-star review. It greatly helps us out. It helps our review out. It helps us get exposed to more listeners, all that jazz. We greatly appreciate it. And so take care, be safe, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Stay safe. See you in the parks.